Hi everyone, I'm Noelle, and today I wanted to talk to you about a somewhat touchy, controversial topic. Something I've noticed in the natural crunchy world is that sometimes when there are people like me who blog and speak and do YouTube videos and put it out there that we use natural and crunchy methods in living, sometimes we're put on this pedestal of super ultimate naturalness, and our humanness kind of gets taken away. Kind of a strange picture, I know. But what I want to talk about is this idea of being a natural person and using mostly natural, crunchy methods of living, and the balance between sometimes having to use conventional products or Western medication. There is a balance. Everybody has a right to believe their own thing, and there are people who, will never ever touch conventional Western stuff and stick with the complete natural, and those people, it works for them, and that's great. But I think that there has become a stigma amongst the natural community, so much so that even when the conventional Western things are needed, or an emergency situation, or just medically necessary, we become stained and we feel bad and we feel so much guilt over that. And I just wanted to kind of hash that out a little bit today. Let me give some examples to put this in perspective. I started using essential oils years ago. I mean, many years ago, but I wasn't using them for everything. I was only using them when I got sick. I would gargle with tea tree oil, or I would add a little bit of lavender to a body spray or something like that. But it was kind of the beginning of my natural journey, where I started making my own hair gel and shampoo, and that kind of went into hand soap and learning more about herbs and vitamins and supplements. And for the most part, I have been able to cut out a lot of the conventional products, both in my home and also the health and wellness department. I am proud to say that I haven't used any copper cold medication in many years, because I found ways that worked better for me, things that were good for my body: apple cider vinegar and tea tree oil and eucalyptus, and just all of these natural remedies that just are so much better. However, I am married to a man who didn't grow up with this natural mind, and it's taken some convincing to get him on board. And while he is on board with most of my crunchiness, he still likes his, ibuprofen in the cupboard. And so, there are some natural people who I always talk about, oh, I got rid of all the over-the-counter medications and I haven't had to take anything in 3 years. And I go, that's awesome for you. But our house still has some of those things in it. And yes, I get really bad headaches. And on most occasions, I do end up having to take some over-the-counter pain medication for that. And I always feel a little guilty, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Now, my one thing here is that I always do try natural remedies first. And if the natural remedy doesn't work, then sometimes you gotta take the next step. You know what I mean? So maybe a true crunchy person would find a remedy that would always work for them, or if that didn't work, find another remedy or whatever. But I don't have all the time in the world to spend trying to find these different remedies to fix every little issue that comes up. And so sometimes I do give in to the conventional ways of things. However, it's not very often for me, and for the most part I've been able to make a balance of, you know, I make my own soap and I use green and natural cleaners around the house and things like that, and so I feel like maybe taking an occasional painkiller is really not going to, you know, make me a completely not natural person, you know? As I came into being pregnant, this kind of completely changed perspectives again, because during pregnancy, many women think that it is the ultimate thing to have no drugs and no medication and, you know, completely natural from the time you conceive to the time you give birth. And if you're able to do that, that is awesome. I think that is the best and the greatest thing that you can do for your child. But for most people, it's just not realistic. Pregnancy comes with some pretty awful symptoms, really bad headaches and morning sickness, and unless you're lucky to have a really light case, a lot of natural remedies don't fix the problem. For my morning sickness, I tried everything that I had. I tried C-bands, I tried peppermint, I tried Preggy Pops and ginger tea, and, you know, eating different meals and crackers and grapes and everything. And while some of them helped, and some of them I do still use to help, nothing made it livable, made my particular case livable. In my case, I couldn't keep food down for 3/4 of every day, and that was distressing me and probably ultimately getting to the point where it could distress my child. And so I did have to make that decision of whether I was just going to keep trying to tough it out naturally, or whether I would give in and take medication for it. And I did end up taking medication for it, and I'm still on it as of now. And it's been really hard, you know, for me to wrap my mind around that. And, you know, in my particular case, I'm already on medication because I have Crohn's disease, and they do not want to take me off of that because it keeps me in remission. And if my health goes down, that puts my child at great risk. So, you know, the doctors believe that by keeping me healthy, it's keeping my baby healthy as well. And again, many people wouldn't agree with that, but I happen to believe that Western medication saved my mom's life and saved my life as well, and is keeping me relatively healthy. And I then use my natural things like oils and vitamins and supplements to keep me even more healthy in the day-to-day life, if that makes sense at all. So I've struggled with a lot of guilt of, am I, you know, bad natural person? Am I not as natural as I, you know, say I am? Am I coming across as I do everything perfect? And because I'm not ever trying to say that. I'm trying to be honest and real with you guys. And it's just something that I've always struggled with. And I've talked about this before. I've written blogs about it in the past, and other people who try to live natural lives have commented that they feel the same way. You know, sometimes the only way to get that spot out of that white shirt is with bleach. Sometimes it's the only way. And I've only had that happen to me once. It was my work shirt, and it had purple spots and nothing. I had to save that shirt, and so I had to buy bleach, and that was the only time I've ever used bleach. It's gone. It's not in my house anymore. But I had to do it. And sometimes, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Now, I'm definitely not advocating for using conventional products because you feel that you need them. Some people take that to believe that, you know, with skin issues, or that they need conventional makeup because natural makeup doesn't do enough. Okay, there are lines and there are boundaries that this applies to. I'm more specifically talking about medical conditions and you know, needing to take your doctor's advice over what you may believe naturally. Now, are doctors always right? Absolutely not. It's always good to check with multiple doctors or do your own research, get a naturalist's opinion. There's plenty you can do out there if you're not sure that you're getting the right information from a medical professional. But I do believe that it is very valuable to consult with them and try to find out all of your options and the various things that you can do to help. This has been kind of a rambly little thing here, but I just wanted to put it out there that just because you use natural things and you like to live a natural life doesn't mean that you can't ever borderline go into the conventional and the Western meds if necessary. So that's just kind of my current thoughts on the whole matter. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are and how you manage this whole topic of compromise and balancing of the conventional versus the natural. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye. To put them in and shake them up with a lid, and you're going to need your essential oil.